The Crown is one of Netflix's longest running and most successful series, and with that, one of its few original shows that has withstood the test of time, or rather, Netflix's mercurial axing spree that probably affects at least 60% of their shows. It's a miracle that this show still stands after its first season. What's even more astounding is its attempt at recapturing the lives of the members of the British royal family, which almost evokes the feeling of sacrilege, because who in their right mind would dare to come near Her Majesty and her family? As everyone knows, this family has a way too long and complicated lineage, but it turns out that the cast of the show is just as ramified. I'm Keegan with Cinematica, and you are watching 107 Facts About The Crown. Number 1. The Crown is a historical drama created by British playwright Peter Morgan, which debuted on Netflix on November 4th, 2016. Number 2. The show is a fictional depiction of the life of Queen Elizabeth II and of the British royal family. Number 3. Morgan based the story on his drama film The Queen and his stage play The Audience, both of which cover different points of time during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Number 4. The show's theme music was composed by the legendary composer Hans Zimmer, together with Lauren Balfe and Rupert Gregson Williams, who also did the music for the first 2 seasons. Number 5. Series creator Peter Morgan was very specific about how he wanted the theme music to sound, describing it as tectonic plates shifting in the world, without it feeling pompous despite making it want to sound regal enough for a show that's telling the story of one of the world's longest existing royal families. Number 6. The first 2 episodes had a head start in the UK where they premiered on November 1st, 2016, with a theatrical release 3 days prior to the release on Netflix. Number 7. The show, which currently has 5 seasons and is expected to reach its conclusion in its 6th, is structured into the 10-year period of each British Prime Minister serving under Queen Elizabeth II, starting out with Winston Churchill. The 2nd season covers Anthony Eden and Harold Macmillan. Season 3 covers Harold Wilson and Edward Heath. Season 4 covers Margaret Thatcher, and Season 5 covers John Major. Number 8. Former British Prime Minister James Callaghan, who was in office from 1976 until 1979, is the only Prime Minister during the Queen's reign not to appear in the show. Despite his incredible career, during which he held all 4 great offices of state as Prime Minister, Chancellor of the Exchequer, Home Secretary, and Foreign Secretary at different points in time between 1964 and 1979. Number 9. Originally, creator Peter Morgan envisaged the series as being 60 episodes in total over 6 seasons, with the first season depicting events up to 1955, but as production was wrapped on Season 4 in January 2020, he announced his intention to conclude the series with Season 5, a season shorter than originally planned. But as you can guess, this did not hold up, and just a few months after the announcement, the show was back on track towards the originally planned 6 seasons, when Morgan realized he needed more episodes to convey the story he wanted to tell. Number 10. The show initially received lots of attention because of its ridiculously high budget, which is as controversial as its depiction of the royal family. Show creator Peter Morgan dismissed the absurd numbers floating around online, which, depending on the source, cover a wide range, with a large margin of 3 digits in the millions, with each episode averaging a budget between 7 and 13 million. What's undeniable is that it's one of the most expensive TV shows ever made, and Netflix intends to cash in on it as long as they can. Number 11. And it's clear that Netflix was very confident with the show because they commissioned 2 seasons before the first episode even finished production, knowing full well that the series was planned out for 6 seasons in total. Number 12. The UK's Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden asked Netflix to put a warning on The Crown stating that it is fictional so that viewers don't mistake fiction for fact. This did not happen, however, as Netflix made a public statement saying that they do not see the need to add such a disclosure. Number 13. Covering what's essentially almost an entire lifetime of one of the world's biggest public figures requires multiple actresses to pull off. With 4 as the number of actresses that were cast for the role, Queen Elizabeth II is one of the characters with the most castings in the show. Claire Foy portrayed her in seasons 1 and 2, Verity Russell played young Elizabeth in seasons 1 and 3, Olivia Colman took over for Foy in seasons 3 and 4, and Imelda Staunton took up the mantle in season 5 and is expected to return for the show's likely to be last season. Number 14. The 3 main actresses who have portrayed the Queen have previously played the other Queen's Regnant of England, or somewhat adjacent to them. Claire Foy played Anne Boleyn, the mother of Queen Elizabeth I, in Wolf Hall. Olivia Colman played Queen Anne in The Favourite, as well as the Queen Mother in Hyde Park on Hudson, and Imelda Stanton voiced Queen Victoria in The Pirates, in an adventure with scientists. Number 15. Colman also played Margaret Thatcher's daughter, Carol Thatcher, in The Iron Lady. Number 16. Helena Bonham Carter, who took over the role of Princess Margaret in Season 3, previously played the Queen Mother in The King's Speech. Number 17. Coincidentally, Helena Bonham Carter's uncle, Mark Bonham Carter, briefly dated Princess Margaret, the very character Helena portrays in Seasons 3 and 4 of the series. Number 18. During the time of her uncle's relationship with the princess, the actress even got to speak with her personally, and the princess was inquiring about her acting abilities, saying, "You are getting better, aren't you?" Well, she probably would be pleased to know that she did indeed work on her acting, and would later be the person to portray her on-screen version. Number 19. Despite playing her younger sister, Helena Bonham Carter is actually almost 8 years older than Olivia Colman, who plays Elizabeth II. Number 20. Conservative British journalist Charles Moore denounced the choice of Olivia Colman to play Queen Elizabeth II, claiming that she had a left-wing face. Colman thought this ridiculous, and that's why you shouldn't mix journalism with film criticism. Number 21. Claire Foy is the only actress to play the Queen in this cast who didn't appear in Doctor Who alongside Matt Smith, who plays her husband Prince Philip in this show. Co-star Olivia Colman made an appearance in Smith's first full debut episode as the renowned Doctor in the Season 5 episode The 11th Hour, and Imelda Staunton appeared in The Woman Who Waited in Season 6. Both episodes featured Doctor Who's companion, Amy Pond, aging significantly while waiting for Matt Smith's Doctor to return for her, and the two actresses appeared in the same order they played the Queen in The Crown. Number 22. In the Doctor Who episode Doctor Who, The Wedding of River Song, Matt Smith's Doctor acted as an advisor to Sir Winston Churchill. The character of Churchill also appears in this series and is portrayed by John Lithgow. Number 23. Both Matt Smith and Tobias Menzies, who plays Prince Philip in Seasons 3 and 4, were in Doctor Who Cold War. Number 24. Actor Matt Smith, whom we see as Prince Philip in the show's first 2 seasons, shares the love for sports with his character. Prince Philip is reportedly a big polo and sailing enthusiast, whereas Smith used to play football professionally in his youth prior to a career-halting back injury. Number 25. And as it happens, just a year before Smith had his debut as Prince Philip on screen, the actor had a chance encounter with Prince William at a charity polo event, where he was given advice on how to approach his role. According to Smith, the prince told him just one word: legend. And that was that. Perhaps not the most earth-shattering advice out there, but it gave Smith the nudge he needed to translate the late prince's spirit onto the screen. Number 26. He also studied original records of the former prince in order to get his walk right. After all, beauty lies in the details. Number 27. So it's not surprising that if you want to get a historical drama right, you not only need the drama, which the royals are the perfect source material for, but are required to do lots of research. In a Q&A, series creator Peter Morgan revealed that they had a team of 7 full-time researchers working for the show. Number 28. A known occurrence is that the late Queen and her late husband liked to bathe together early into their marriage. The show's director, Stephen Daldry, said he toyed with the idea of putting this into the show but decided against it. I guess that would have been too intimate, even for a show of this caliber. Number 29. Naturally, with most of the cast being British, the majority of them were, not to say the least, interested in the personal and public lives of the characters they were bringing to life. Smith's successor, Tobias Menzies, however, was said to have no particular interest in the royals prior to his engagement on the show, but he took a liking to the late Prince Philip. Number 30. The makeup process for John Lithgow's Winston Churchill took only 20 minutes for each session, according to the actor. Toothmaster Chris Lyons created a pair of tooth blobs for the character that were attached to Lithgow's back teeth in order to create an alteration in his diction and make his jowls pucker. Number 31. The iconic black door of 10 Downing Street had to be made larger in scale so that John Lithgow, who is 6'4" in height, would not look significantly larger than the real-life Sir Winston Churchill, who at this stage was around 5'6". Number 32. For his role as Sir Winston Churchill, John Lithgow's dialect coach was William Conacher, who also had to coach the other mostly British cast because of subtle changes in English accents over the decades. Lithgow had to stuff cotton into his nostrils in order to capture the faint nasal timbre of Churchill's intonations, while a dialect evolutionist was on set to monitor the accuracy of accents over the time span of the series. It was noted, for example, that Queen Elizabeth II's pronunciation of vowels during the 1950s differs enormously from the way her grandson Prince Harry speaks today. Number 33. Meanwhile, actors Claire Foy and Matt Smith were challenged when it came to the pronunciation of simple words like thank you and was. Apparently, the dialect coach was appalled by Foy's attempt at a cliched impression of Her Majesty, so when he explained to her that the Queen barely opens her mouth when she speaks, Foy was better able to relax her jaw and enunciate thank you. Smith, on the other hand, had difficulty with the word was, which was pronounced as was, when the more princely intonation was more like wows. Number 34. Queen Elizabeth II had blue eyes, like her first portrayer Claire Foy. Her successor, Olivia Colman, however, has brown eyes. Wanting to keep the illusion alive, she was initially tested with blue contact lenses over her brown eyes, but it was decided that they negatively affect her performance. After that failed, the editors tried changing her eye color in post-production, but came up with unsatisfying results. Eventually they gave up, and it was decided to accept the continuity error. Number 35. Because the first part of the show takes place in the 40s and 50s, which is when everybody and their grandmother smoked, it comes as no shock to see Princess Margaret herself, in the show that is, do just that. Due to actress Vanessa Kirby not smoking in real life, she had to smoke herbal cigarettes during filming. Number 36. Claire Foy is 4 years older than Vanessa Kirby, which is the same age difference between their real-life characters, Queen Elizabeth II and Princess Margaret. Number 37. Based on that, you would say pitch-perfect casting, but there is one significant difference that breaks the illusion. In reality, the Queen and Princess Margaret were almost the same height. Unfortunately, Claire Foy, who is of similar height to the Queen, is smaller than her co-star Vanessa Kirby, who is almost 4 inches taller than the princess. To make this less obvious on camera, Kirby can be seen wearing flat shoes in the show to offset the height difference. Number 38. In an early reading of the series in 2014, Queen Elizabeth II was played by Felicity Jones, who had also auditioned for the role. Number 39. At the time of production in season 1, Claire Foy was pregnant and was breastfeeding her newborn infant. When she first read the script, she was already 5 months pregnant, and as such, never dreamed she'd have a chance of landing a leading role. Number 40. Because of her pregnancy, which made it quite difficult to wear the rather tight-fitting dresses, Foy had to wear a corset during the filming of the first season. Something she was actually grateful for because it helped her keep her posture in character after having it removed during the filming of season 2. Number 41. The day Vanessa Kirby did her screen test for Princess Margaret, she had earlier applied self-tanner on her ankles. For her audition, she switched into a skirt that exposed more of her legs, but it showed her legs in their natural shade, which stood out in stark contrast to her bright orange-tanned ankles. Peter Morgan later revealed that the appearance of her ankles was so distracting it almost cost her the job. Number 42. Anton Lesser, who plays Prime Minister Harold Macmillan, and Ben Miles, who portrays Princess Margaret's love interest, Peter Townsend, appeared on The Hollow Crown as Thomas Beaufort, Duke of Exeter, and Edmund Beaufort, Duke of Somerset, Exeter's nephew, respectively. Number 43. In this series, Queen Elizabeth II is portrayed as opposing Princess Margaret's proposed marriage to Group Captain Peter Townsend, on the grounds that he was divorced. This is a common public misconception. Papers in the National Archives, which were made public in 2004, show that the Queen and Anthony Eden, the British Prime Minister at the time, drew up an agreement to allow the marriage to take place, as long as Princess Margaret renounced her right, and that of her children, to the throne. Nevertheless, Margaret announced 3 days after the agreement had been finalized that she would not marry Townsend after all. Number 44. Another altered detail of historic events is when Elizabeth returns from her trip to Kenya upon receiving news of her father's passing and visits him at his bed. In reality, she had elected out of seeing the body of her father, which was changed here for, you guessed it, the drama. Number 45. Winston Churchill's secretary, Venetia Scott, who is shown to have died as a result of the Great Smog of London in December 1952, did not exist in real life. Number 46. In an interview on the Graham Norton Show, Matt Smith revealed that he almost died while filming on set. The incident took place while filming in South Africa in a shared scene with co-star and on-screen wife Claire Foy, in which the newlyweds would share a romantic moment while riding horses. Deciding to have a little fun while at work, Smith got on his horse and cantered around and soon lost control as the horse was galloping towards a ravine with a herd of zebras. Luckily, a huge man grabbed the reins and could prevent him from disaster. To add insult to injury, that scene would later be cut. Number 47. According to the show's costume designer, Michelle Clapton, known for her work on Game of Thrones, which she returned to following her time on The Crown just after one season, the first scene that was ever shot for the show was the party arrangement by Prince Edward and wife Wallis in celebration of Elizabeth's coronation. Number 48. Clapton would often collaborate with the cast, many of whom brought in their own ideas and assessments regarding the wardrobe of their characters. Number 49. In sum, she designed more than 350 costumes for the show's first season. Number 50. Elizabeth's wedding dress was the most challenging to make and as a result took longer to make than any other costume. Number 51. The coronation dress worn by Elizabeth is a replica that was originally commissioned by Harrods for a celebratory window display in 2012 for the Queen's Jubilee. The dress was made and is owned by Angel's Costumes, for whom they hired many of the costumes for the series. Despite being made to a mannequin size, Claire Foy fit the dress perfectly and was the first person to ever wear it. Number 52. For a lot of the characters' costumes, the designs were created with artistic liberty, except for key pieces like Elizabeth's wedding gown and her dress for her coronation, as well as some crowns. However, according to Clapton, they were not permitted to recreate certain pieces, which meant she had to redesign them, changing 25% so the lawyers agreed that they could be used. Number 53. Filming of Season 2 took place in various locations across Harlow, Essex in March of 2017. Number 54. In 2018, producers of the show admitted that Claire Foy was paid less than her co-star Matt Smith. They apologized for that error and promised that in the future seasons, any actress playing Queen Elizabeth would receive compensation equal to any actor playing Prince Philip, which is ironic considering in the show, Prince Philip is portrayed as the inferior person of the two. The producers held true to their word. Ahead of the third season's premiere, Tobias Menzies, Prince Philip, revealed that he was paid less than his co-star Olivia Colman, Queen Elizabeth II. Number 55. In the first two seasons, Martin Charteris is played by Harry Haddon Patton, and in the next two, he's played by Charles Edwards. Both men were on the show Downton Abbey and were in relationships with the character Lady Edith Crawley. Charles Edwards played her boyfriend Michael Gregson, with whom she had a daughter, and Harry Haddon Patton played Bertie Pelham, whom she later marries. Number 56. Harry Haddon Patton is the godson of Sarah Ferguson, who was married to Queen Elizabeth II's son, Prince Andrew, between 1986 and 1996. Her father, Nigel Haddon Patton, played interregimental polo with Andrew Parker Bowles, who at the time was the husband of Camilla, the queen consort to King Charles III. Number 57. Claire Foy and Eileen Atkins, who plays her grandmother Queen Mary, appeared in the first season of Upstairs Downstairs, a British drama series telling the decline of the British aristocracy. Number 58. In the Season 4 episode Terra Nullius, which is a retelling of the events of Prince Charles's and Princess Diana's Australia tour, an uncredited Olivia Colman can be heard voicing an Australian newscaster in a montage scene. Number 59. When asked about the hardest part of playing the Queen, Olivia Colman said in an interview that it was not to give in to the emotion in certain moments, because she herself cries easily and the Queen is notoriously restrained in showing her emotions. Number 60. On the last day of filming Season 2, the show's cinematographer Adriano Goldman had asked all of the electricians on set to put multicolored lights in all the lights around Buckingham Palace to turn the place into a disco. Upon finishing filming, Claire Foy and the co-star Vanessa Kirby found themselves celebrating in a makeshift disco together with their fellow castmates. Nobody says you can't throw a party, even as a royal, or as a make-believe royal. Number 61. If the drama around Prince Harry and his darling Meghan taught us anything, it's that the Brits like to keep their bloodline pure, something that's reflected in the show's mostly British cast, save for John Lithgow, who was the only American actor playing a British character in the series through the second season. This changed with the casting of Gillian Anderson for the role of Britain's first female Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher, in Season 4. Anderson was born in the United States, but raised partially in the US and England. Number 62. Elizabeth and Margaret's father, King George VI, is played by actor Jared Harris, while his historical father, King George V, was played by Michael Gambon in The King's Speech. Harris's real-life father, Richard Harris, played Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and was replaced by Gambon after he died. Number 63. Jared Harris had a cold at the same time during filming as his character King George VI was sick. Number 64. The series accurately portrays King George VI's speech impediment, which was a terrible stutter. This aspect of his life was previously detailed in the Oscar-winning movie The King's Speech. Number 65. American divorcee Wallis Simpson, for whom Queen Elizabeth's uncle, King Edward VIII, abdicated the throne in order to marry, is played by Geraldine Chaplin, the daughter of famed early film actor Charles Chaplin. Number 66. She is mother to Una Chaplin, who appeared on Game of Thrones alongside Tobias Menzies, who plays Prince Philip in seasons 3 and 4. Number 67. Contrary to the way that it's portrayed in the series, Wallis Simpson was actually not present in the room during the Duke of Windsor's abdication radio broadcast, and had fled the country to the south of France to the city of Caen, where she hid from the press in the residence of close friends. Number 68. The first season of this show proceeds with its storylines on Edward VIII's abdication and later treatment by the royal family and British government, without revealing the extent to which that treatment was colored by his and his wife's sympathy to, and possible collusion with, the Nazis and Adolf Hitler. According to the so-called Marburg and Windsor files, which were suppressed by the then Prime Minister Winston Churchill until their publication in 1957, the abdicated prince was part of a Nazi plot that would see him reinstated on the throne again as Hitler's puppet after his brother was to be overthrown. This element of Edward and Wallis's characters was addressed in greater detail during the show's second season. Number 69. Claire Foy, who played Queen Elizabeth II in the first 2 seasons, was married to actor Stephen Campbell Moore, who played Queen Elizabeth's uncle, King Edward VIII, Duke of Windsor, in a movie about Edward's relationship with his wife Wallis Warfield Simpson. Number 70. Patrick Reichart plays the Duke of Norfolk. In real life, he was previously married to Marcia FitzAlan, daughter of the 17th Duke of Norfolk. Number 71. Jeremy Northam, who plays Prime Minister Anthony Eden, and Anton Lesser, who plays Eden's successor, Harold Macmillan, both previously played Thomas More in different projects. Thomas More was Lord High Chancellor of England under King Henry VIII. Number 72. Alex Jennings plays Elizabeth's uncle, the abdicated Duke of Windsor, and has a history of playing a royal on screen. He previously starred as King Charles III, Prince of Wales, in Peter Morgan's The Queen, and also portrayed King George III in Liberty, the American Revolution, and King Leopold I of Belgium in Victoria. Number 73. Matthew Good, who plays photographer Tony Armstrong-Jones, and Harry Treadaway, who plays British Baronet Roddy Llewellyn, are both born in the city of Exeter in Devon. Both characters are romantically involved with Princess Margaret. Number 74. Although the series makes it seem as though Princess Margaret and Roddy Llewellyn were only together for a short period of time, they were actually together for about 8 years in real life. Number 75. Due to rights issues, the show could not use the real photographs taken by Anthony Armstrong-Jones Snowden, so the photographer Julian Broad was asked to create images in the spirit of Armstrong-Jones's work to be shown in some scenes. Broad had previously worked as an assistant to the real Armstrong-Jones for 2 years during the 1980s. Number 76. Despite playing mother and daughter, Victoria Hamilton, who plays Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother, is only 13 years older than her on-screen daughter Claire Foy. Number 77. In March of 1974, while on their return by car to Buckingham Palace, a kidnap attempt was made on Princess Anne and husband Captain Mark Phillips. Strangely, this event was not depicted in the show. Number 78. On the flip side, one of the major events of great importance for the royals in the last decades did make it into the show: Prince Charles' investiture as the Prince of Wales. The important moment was filmed at the very location its real counterpart took place in the Carnarvon Castle in Wales. Number 79. While Prince Philip was reportedly not a big fan of the show, with most of the royals being more reticent about matters concerning their private lives in the face of the public, royal biographer Katie Nicholl writes in her book Life, Loss, and Love that Prince Harry and wife Meghan Markle are fans of the show and even bonded over it. Number 80. Unlike Philip, his wife, the Queen, is said to have enjoyed the show and to have watched its first season together with the family for supper on the weekends. See, even the royals can Netflix and chill, so now you can't say that they're not relatable. Number 81. Another royal who has openly come out about being a fan of the show is Queen Elizabeth's granddaughter, Princess Eugenie, who is a self-professed fan of the series. Number 82. In her Christmas address in 2017, Her Majesty referenced and included a clip of her first televised address, which was depicted in the show's episode Marionettes, which came out a couple weeks prior to her Christmas speech. Number 83. However, as to be expected by the woman whom the show essentially revolves around, she also had reason for critique, but not regarding her own portrayal, but that of her husband and firstborn. It's reported that she did not agree with the portrayal of their father-son relationship in the show's second season, particularly concerning Philip's dismissal of Charles's feelings during a plane ride. Number 84. The Buckingham Palace exterior set, built on the Elstree Studios backlot, is close to the George Lucas stage and the large Elstree Studio water tank site, which at the time was being used as the Big Brother house. Because of this, there were news reports during the time of filming this show claiming that live Big Brother events would affect filming of The Crown. Most obviously the noisy crowds and fireworks, as the two different series sets and studios are literally back to back. Number 85. For season 3, the show's production company Left Bank requested even more space for its set at Elstree Studios and specifically sought to expand the Buckingham Palace, which is a crucial anchor point in the series, making the show even more expensive in expenses, but you can never be too greedy when you're working on a show about royals. Number 86. Throughout the series, various vehicles are seen to enter Buckingham Palace from the mall entrance, where it can be seen that the road outside and the inner courtyard are covered by black tarmac. However, since the 1950s at least, the surface of the mall and courtyard have actually been colored red, using a synthetic iron oxide pigment. Number 87. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, filming of season 4 ended up missing at least 2 weeks worth of footage that are absent in the show, causing Peter Morgan to restructure the episodes. Number 88. In 2021, The Crown became the first drama series to win all 4 major acting Emmys in a single year, as well as the Emmy Awards for writing, directing, and series. Number 89. The show had already had a successful record streak during the first of its 2 seasons, reaping more than 25 major awards, including 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, 2 BAFTA Television Awards, and 3 Screen Actors Guild Awards. Number 90. As is common knowledge, glimmer attracts moths. Based on Nielsen's data, the show garnered sympathy among viewers with a similar demographic as the royals. Half of the show's viewers during its second season were over 50 years old, and 40% came from wealthy households with a bigger income than the rest of the viewers. Number 91. Prior to the premiere and cast reveal of season 4, it was rumored that Helen Mirren, who portrayed Elizabeth in Peter Morgan's The Queen, would succeed Olivia Colman after the series' next time jump. But the actress dismissed the speculation, expressing her curiosity of seeing somebody else take on the role. Number 92. Prior to Tobias Menzies being cast in the show, Paul Bettany was in talks to play Prince Philip in seasons 3 and 4, but withdrew due to conflicting filming schedules. Number 93. Juliet Corrin, the mother of Emma Corrin, who portrays Lady Di in season 4, was often compared to the late princess because of her looks, something that carried over into her daughter, who brought her to life on screen. Number 94. Initially, Emma Corrin was invited to the set as a scene partner for actors auditioning for the character Parker Bowles, but Corrin stood out to series creator Peter Morgan and his crew that they couldn't help but put her into a blonde wig, the right costume, and makeup until they had the spitting image of Princess Diana right in front of them. Number 95. But looking like Diana was not enough. The actress revealed that in preparation for her role, she virtually surrounded herself with the late princess, covering her computer desktop background with screen grabs from the documentary Diana in her own words, and setting a photo of Diana with Prince Philip as her computer's background picture. She also named her cockapoo puppy Spencer after Diana's maiden name. Number 96. In advance of filming the 4th season, actor Josh O'Connor, who plays Philip's Prince Charles on the show, read about arranged marriages including marital breakdowns. Understandably, the actor expressed his wariness of a future marriage. Number 97. When Gillian Anderson was cast to play Margaret Thatcher, many fans argued that she was too sexy for the part. This might have been quite amusing for showrunner Peter Morgan, who was dating her at the time and was the one to suggest her to his show's casting director Nina Gold, and told his partner that she would only be getting the role if she was considered the best choice for the part. Number 98. Season 3 portrays the Queen's interaction with her art advisor Anthony Blunt. and the revelation that Blunt had been a Soviet spy, of which she was informed in 1964. Blunt is played by Samuel West, who previously portrayed him in Cambridge Spies. His mother, Prunella Scales, previously played the Queen in Screen 1, A Question of Attribution, an earlier drama which also focused on the Queen's relationship with Blunt and covered the revelation of his espionage. Number 99. The color palette for Princess Diana's Australia tour two-piece she wears in Season 4 was chosen to emphasize the narrative of her versus them, hence isolating the colors that her real counterpart was often seen wearing that the royals did not, to make it her particular color scheme. The result was the introduction of increased red and black, and what is described as a typical 80s shades of green and purple. Number 100. Diana's wedding dress was recreated by the Nottingham company that made the original and took over 600 hours to create. Number 101. The series featured approximately 1,500 uniforms, most of which were worn for the trooping of the color scene, as well as foreign uniforms for Lord Mountbatten's funeral. Number 102. The show has an official companion podcast which premiered prior to the release of its third season and was launched by Netflix. The podcast features interviews with the cast and crew, which you can listen to on the official website. Number 103. The show received a virtual museum exhibit for its costumes, which are displayed by the Brooklyn Museum as part of its virtual exhibition, The Queen and the Crown. Number 104. In 2017, The Guardian reported that The Crown is the longest-running soap opera in British public life. Number 105. As we have already established, creator Peter Morgan has a majority of his works dedicated to the life of the British royal family, but when it came to meeting the Queen herself in the flesh, he ducked out, arguing that keeping distance gives him the independence to write his stories without commitments. Number 106. Following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II on September 8, 2022, the show suspended filming for Season 6 for 2 days to respect her death. Number 107. In April of 2022, it was reported that Netflix and production company Left Bank were in talks for a potential prequel series, covering the reign of Queen Elizabeth II's predecessors, starting with the death of her great-great-grandmother Queen Victoria in 1901 until Queen Elizabeth II's wedding in 1947, roughly spanning 50 years. Thanks for watching 107 Facts About the Crown. Who's your favorite royal? Sound off in the comments. And if you liked this video, be sure to check out some of our other 107 fact videos by clicking the annotations or links in the description. And if you like getting more from your movies and TV, subscribe to Cinematica, where we help you watch smarter.